everybody. Welcome back to Jordan Lee Tarot. So I have 3 oracle decks for you today, and the song that was stuck in my head, I have no idea if this is important. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Paying homage to an OG on YouTube. I got 3 looks, 3 looks, 3 looks. If anyone knows Jenna Marbles and knows that song, that may have significance. I have no idea why. Okay, the Illustrated Crystallary Oracle, the Inner Child Oracle, and the Astera Oracle. So I have 3 oracle decks for today. I have no set tarot decks, which is totally fine with me. I'm just a channel. We're figuring it out as we go. And I did want to let everybody know that I am systematically going through all of the videos that I have posted and adding those affiliate links because yes, I finally did get that hooked up. So yay. If you want to purchase any of these, a lot of these are available on Amazon, but a lot of the others are Etsy. So those are my 2 go-to places when I'm looking for new decks. So yeah, okay, let's get started. I got 3 looks, 3 looks, 3 looks. I don't even know if her channel is live anymore. I know she kind of went off of YouTube for a while. I don't know if she's back on. Maybe I need to go check that out. But I just loved her and her Italian Greyhound dogs. So anyway, let's see what Spirit has for us today. I'm going to tap in and just close my eyes. I feel like I'm already there. I'm kind of in the zone. I can always tell when I get giggly that I'm there. I'm with Spirit. All right, what messages need to come through today with this 3 oracle deck reading? All right. We're not chatty, or we are chatty? I just don't know. Wow, okay. Normally they're jumping. A parallel, whoa, a parallel perspective. I'm gonna hold these up together. Very trippy when you look at them side by side. How crazy is that? A parallel perspective. That's beautiful. So I think this is talking about realizing that we are a part of something a lot bigger than we are. And we sometimes forget that. So I think there's that you are very small but still significant vibe going on here. And this is, I think, the encouragement to take a higher perspective. A parallel perspective. What does that mean? What I'm sensing and feeling with this is that there are multiple versions of us. And actually that calls back to this Jenna Marbles video. I got 3 looks, 3 looks, 3 looks. And it was just these 3 different looks that she has, right? And they were so extremely different, but they were all her, okay? And what I'm sensing is that there's this parallel perspective about yourself that maybe you have, or maybe you're being called to look at. So that's where we're going to start off. I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper with which one is this? The Crystallary deck. Some of the decks, the names elude me. These Crystallary deck images are so powerful that I just want to dive right into them and sometimes forget about what they're called, where I'm at, who am I, what day is it? Just existing in a parallel perspective right now, just floating on another planet. Pardon me. All right. Let's get not too serious, but let's get serious. What do we need to know about this parallel perspective? Ebb and Flow, Moonstone. So I'm definitely going to read the meaning in this deck. Okay. Moonstone. Mama Moon rules the waters, pulling the tide and singing to the ebb and flow within our own watery bodies. As the moon's acolyte, Moonstone holds the mystery of water, teaching us to swim in our own depth and find our own rhythm of waxing and waning. When you feel disoriented by new places or experiences, or when the pull of the modern world has taken you away from the mysteries of the natural realms, Moonstone is here to guide you back. She is a stone for the journey from dark to light, inner to outer, winter to summer, steadfast in her gentle assertion that everything comes around again. Flowing with life's tides, she assures you, will lead to renewal. Beautiful. If Jenna Marbles is already back on YouTube or comes back on YouTube, I'm gonna be like, okay, this was an amazing turn of events. I'm really curious now. I need to go look this up when I'm done with this with this reading. So that ebb and flow, rest and run, we'll call it. There's a time to rest, there's a time to run, and running doesn't have to mean manic running. It just means action, rest, action, rest, action. As I prepare for my move, I've been called to rest, action. And it's definitely been something that I have to feel through in the moment each day. Some days I think I'm going to do one thing and I end up doing another, and that has to be okay. I'm flowing with the ebb and flow of whatever is going on right now. So it's almost like I think you're being called to have two things going at once. Maybe something that is more restful, or something that is more frenetic, like movement and action, or rest and stillness. And again, stillness doesn't have to mean no action. It can still mean that you're doing something productive. But I definitely think there's these kind of energy that you're being called to embrace. That there's something here that needs to go this way. That's the way it needs to flow. That's the way it needs to go. Okay. Black tourmaline, transmutation. Okay, I am going to read this one as well. I feel like these certain decks just call me to read, when others I can just simply interpret the meaning out the front. And this deck calls me to read it. I don't know why. All right. Get a good visual there. Some say if you can't see it, it doesn't exist. But you can hear the radio, can't you? Radio frequencies are transmitted in waves invisible to the eye. A lot of information comes to us by routes that are unseen. Worlds of knowledge come across your screen, transmitted on invisible, silent waves. It's magical, and in its own way noisy if you're sensitive to that sort of thing. Black tourmaline's first gift is transmutation, the ability to take in all that energetic excess and turn it into something else. Ooh, that's powerful. What, you may wonder? And that's for you to decide. Black tourmaline is both a teacher and a tool. How will you use it? How will you change one form of energy into another? Okay. Now, I have this weird thing that I do, that when I'm feeling like I have the energy to move and do something frenetic, like in my case, pack boxes. I typically do that in the morning. I get ready, I feed the dog, I feed the cat, I take the dog out, I do all the normal morning routine things, and then I just start packing. I'm still in my pajamas, I've brushed my teeth, I've washed my face, but I haven't done much else, and I just start packing because my energy is there and I get stuff done, and then I pull back. And then I start to do something a little bit more, like I meditate, or I start to work out on my yoga mat in a very gentle, soft way. Maybe I build to working out, maybe I don't. And I let the energy of what feels right in my morning routine. It's like in a box, in a time frame, but I allow myself to squirrel around in that box. So let yourself squirrel. Let yourself squirrel. There's a squirrel on the back of this card. There's also an adorable video that I have of a squirrel chewing on debris in the gutters that I just took today. Honor the squirrel within you. But what that means is there's an ebb and a flow. There's a this and a that. Allow yourself to lean into that, because I think if you are feeling overwhelmed with some sort of physical action that you need to take, do something maybe productive that'll allow you to sit or lay and rest. And then when you get that energy kind of built back up, then you can springboard into more action. And there's something about using the energies of both to push and pull you back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I think it's a very efficient way to lean into where you're most potent in that moment. Some moments you are more potent resting than doing action. Some moments you are more potent doing action than resting. Did you ever feel like you needed to just get moving and do something? And you had a whole lot of office work to do, or you just had to do something sitting down and it was just driving you nuts because you have to get up and move. This is that time where I say put on headphones, do laundry, do dishes, do something around the house if you can, or find a way to use whatever energy is most potent within you in that moment to springboard into the most appropriate action. So there's something here about that beautiful ebb and flow. I think we're in a time where there's a lot of change, a lot of transition going on within our lives, and it looks so different, so different for everybody. This year of the fire horse could mean a lot of different things for you. It could mean that you're called to make fast, jerky changes that feel overwhelming to you. And so again, rest, rebound into action. When you get a little bit tired, you're feeling like, I need to rest now. I'm kind of spent. Go back to rest and allow that to be a natural trampolining process back and forth. And I assure you that if you were to film yourself, you would think yourself crazy. But being sensitive to the energy that is most potent within you will allow for maximum productivity. So yeah. All right. We're coming into the inner child oracle to kind of tap in and understand, what this might be saying. Bring this into something a little more deep. Listen, your inner child has something to say. Go on an adventure. Today is the day to try something daring. Okay. Two extremes. Oops. Rest. Listen. Go on an adventure. This is that energy that I'm talking about. Your inner child has something to say. This feels like a moment where you're being called into a quiet space, a quiet meditation. Listen, pause, reflect, and then go do something really fun. So, this speaks about a beautiful connection where we honor that part of us that has a whisper, something that it needs to say. And then after listening, it actually gives us an assignment, a fun one that says, go do that fun thing that you've always wanted to go do. And I think that the time frame on these jumps and the space in between is very personal to you and very personal to whatever you have going on. So this could be something as quick as a rebound from thing to thing within minutes. It could be hours, it could be weeks, it could be months. You could be in a period of listening, pausing, and resting for months before you jump into that big adventure. Maybe you are reflecting on a new skill you want to learn, or a class you want to take, or a degree you want to get, or a new job you want to go for. But it requires a big change, and you need to internally do some things first before you commit to this. I had a moment like this when I'm a yoga instructor, and I had a moment where I thought I was going to jump into yoga therapy, and I got really excited and I paused, and I wanted to make sure, because going into yoga therapy meant going into a more structured environment to teach and heal, such as hospitals, such as maybe hopefully retirement communities, childcare centers, like places that took insurance. And I could bring yoga into those spaces. And I thought, am I meant to teach yoga in this very controlled, very institutionalized format, or am I called to kind of be that rogue instructor that just kind of pops up and does things here and there and helps in little ways and then pops in and out? And I really wasn't sure. And I decided that I wanted to do yoga therapy, and I created a really beautiful opportunity for myself within a school. And I applied and I got in, and it was wonderful. And, we were all set to begin, and then COVID hit. And it was just sort of a message to me that, your best laid plans, you made the choice. It was a good choice in that moment, but we're going to still divinely reroute you. And ever since then, I have not been called to enter into teaching in a big, large, institutionalized way. I think I'm being guided to help and assist outside of the mainstream system on purpose. But there are people that are called to be within the system, even systems that are broken, crumbling, because we need good people everywhere. And so it's like, where can I best serve? And it kind of took me out of that. But I needed to pause and really reflect on how I could use my energy best. So this is something for you to pause and reflect on. Yes, you want to help people in the world. Yes, you have a calling. How can I use that best? Maybe pause and reflect on that. Have time to gain a parallel perspective, and even a higher perspective, or more appropriately, just a perspective of dialing into you and what your unique signature is as a medicine. Your energy, it's medicine, it's medicinal. Someone needs what you have. Okay. It could be a conversation with a stranger. It could be a formal teaching position. It could be a family member. It could be a friend. It could be a myriad of ways that you use your medicine to uplift. I mean, have you ever been in a room with someone who's just so uplifting because they're cracking jokes, they're being silly, maybe they're a little loud and boisterous, but they're really amping up the energy of the room, right? Those energies are needed just as much as the quiet, reserved person who holds a strong, sure presence about themselves as well. Those are both different energies, but they're both very medicinal in their own way. And I think spirit is trying to place us, right? All of us in this collective, where we will have the most kapow. And I always wondered why I was brought across the country and I was in the location that I'm in for like 5, 6 months. And now I'm being called to a different location. Why? Why? Right? From a practical standpoint, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Do you know how much time and energy it takes to find a place to live and pack up all your things and move? And it's so much energy. But I feel like I'm being called to a different location. I can't, but I it took some time for that to gestate. And then I took fast action. And now, even in the process, after making the choice, there's an ebb and flow of pause, action, pause, action. This is how things get done. This is how real things get done. And what that's taught me is when you are in the real energetic flow of where the universe is taking you, whatever step you're on, whatever part of the journey that you're on, it can take you further faster. And I think it's not all about efficiency. Don't get me wrong, but I think we're at a point where we're tired of misusing our energy and we're tired of poor energy management, right? I don't want to get upset at someone who did me wrong. I want to go, okay, that's more about you than me, and move on, because my energy is so much more precious. And I'm going to use that opportunity, alchemize it to springboard into something else, springboard into where spirit actually wants me to be. Spirit wanted me to be in front of this person. Okay. It wasn't the best experience. Now I'm going to springboard into something else that is for my divine and highest good. And in that process of just being myself, my medicine comes out of me and into the world and helps other people springboard off of what I said to them or what I showed them or what I taught them. And, allows for a lot of things from a lot of people to be transmuted. This is powerful. And sometimes it's the opposite energy, that's really going to get you going. So they say opposites attract. That's sort of what this card is giving. And that could mean that opposites attract in the fact that the person who has what you feel like you lack right now is normally the person with the most lessons for you, and vice versa. So I think it's interesting. All right. What do you think? I think I'm going to pull one more card from the Inner Child Oracle and we're going to wrap up. This was a very interesting message. I love this. I love that there's always something new that comes out in these readings that makes, I have no plan when I begin this, but I just feel like there's an important something that needs to come out, and I honor Spirit's delivery of that. Run wild. Let your inner child run forth. And yes, that is a horse with butterfly wings. So really, really beautiful stuff here. Let's actually read this. All right, 29. There is a wild aspect to being a child, a sort of carefree naivety partnered with an intense connection to our senses. Children feel things more deeply and experience the world more through their bodies than through their minds. They have little care for how things are supposed to be. And while this is obviously not a place we can continually reside in as adults, there's a magic to be had in connecting with this mindset once again. So, the playfulness exercise is basically to play in the mud outside in the rain with your bare feet and feel the squishiness of the mud between your toes. I'm not sure if that's going to be something you want to do, but if there is something that you've always wanted to do, I encourage you to do it. And my dryer is going to sing us a song. I don't know if you guys can hear that. And with that, I will end our reading and just encourage you to run wild in whatever way you feel called to run free. So I hope this message had value for you, and I hope you have a beautiful day.